The playback froze on the frame for less than a second. 5 of us had walked into the turbine hall, but the camera only showed 4. I rewound the footage, played it again. There it was, 4 flashlights, 4 shadows, 4 voices, the 5th person, me. Wasn't anywhere in the frame, yet I was the one holding the camera. This is impossible. Nobody answered, because everyone else was staring at something even worse. Each of their cameras was missing someone different. This is Tales of the Dark. A subscriber sent me this story after asking that the location remain anonymous. The building still stands somewhere in the mountains, sealed behind rusted fences. Whether anyone still goes there, I don't know. It started with a challenge. There were 5 of us, me, Jake, Mason, Ethan, and Noah. We weren't ghost hunters. We hated fake paranormal videos. Our channel focused on abandoned places, forgotten buildings, and local history. If something strange happened, we wanted to capture it honestly. One weekend, we drove into a rural mountain district after hearing about an abandoned hydroelectric power station hidden deep inside a forest valley. The locals refused to talk much about it, most simply said, "Don't stay after midnight." When we asked why, they either changed the subject or walked away. Only one old mechanic finally told us anything useful. The power station had shut down almost 30 years earlier. Officially, it was because of structural damage after heavy flooding. Unofficially, every security guard hired after the closure quit within days. Some claimed they heard machinery running without electricity. Others said they saw lights moving inside the sealed control room. Then he mentioned something that made us laugh. Groups never come back the same. What do you mean? He looked directly at me. They leave remembering different numbers. Jake laughed. You mean people disappear? The old man shook his head. Worse, you forget they were ever there. We thanked him and left. The drive took nearly 2 hours along narrow mountain roads before the trees opened into a wide concrete valley. The power station looked enormous. Broken windows, collapsed pipes, rusted steel towers disappearing into the fog. Nature had slowly swallowed most of it. The entrance gate hung open. No warning signs. No security, only silence. We parked the SUV outside and unloaded our gear. Everyone carried something. DSLR cameras, helmet cameras, LED lights, wireless microphones, walkie-talkies, a drone, extra batteries. Jake even joked we'd probably spend more time filming graffiti than ghosts. The air changed the moment we crossed the gate. It wasn't colder, just still, no wind, no insects, nothing. The only sound came from our footsteps echoing through the empty yard. Inside the main turbine hall, everything looked frozen in time. Massive generators sat beneath layers of dust. Steel catwalks crossed overhead. Old control panels lined one wall. Some gauges still pointed to impossible numbers. We split up briefly to film different angles while staying within sight of each other. Nothing unusual happened, at least, not immediately. Around 11:30 Noah called us over. You guys should see this. He pointed his flashlight toward one of the walls. Someone had written hundreds of names across the concrete using white paint. Not graffiti, just names, thousands of them, different handwriting, different dates. Some stretched back decades. People often signed abandoned places. That wasn't strange. What bothered us was the newest names, written only weeks earlier. 5 names, Jake, Mason, Ethan, Noah, mine. We all laughed. Someone must have copied our social media. It was creepy but possible. Jake pulled out his phone. Our trip wasn't public. He was right. We hadn't announced where we were going. Nobody outside our group knew. Mason scraped one of the names with his pocket knife. The paint peeled away easily, fresh, very fresh. Then Ethan noticed something underneath. Older paint, the exact same names, same order, same handwriting, only dated 8 years ago. Nobody laughed after that. Midnight arrived. The building groaned. A deep metallic sound rolled through the generators. Jake smiled nervously. Old buildings settle. Then every flashlight flickered at once, only once, long enough for the darkness to swallow the room. When the lights returned, the names had changed. A 6th name had appeared beneath ours. None of us recognized it. Daniel, no last name, just Daniel. Noah frowned. Was that there before? Nobody could remember. We decided to keep moving. The control room overlooked the entire station through cracked glass windows. Most of the equipment had been stripped years earlier. Only dusty chairs remained. Ethan launched the drone. Its live feed appeared on his monitor. The drone climbed above the turbines. Everything looked normal until it reached the far end of the building. There should be a wall here instead. The camera showed another hallway, long, perfectly lit, spotless, unlike the rest of the station. Jake unfolded the old blueprint we'd downloaded from the county archive. He compared it to the monitor. "No," he whispered, "that hallway doesn't exist." The drone continued forward. The hallway ended at a steel elevator. Its display read, "Level 5. Jake checked the blueprint again. The station only has 4 levels before anyone could speak. The drone feed filled with static, connection lost, battery full, signal gone." We followed the direction it had flown. The hallway wasn't there, only a solid concrete wall. Ethan rebooted the controller. The live feed returned. The drone was still flying, still inside the impossible hallway. The elevator doors slowly opened. The drone drifted inside. The screen froze, one frame, then another. The image cleared. Inside the elevator, someone was standing behind the drone. A man wearing a construction helmet, face hidden. He looked directly into the camera. Then, very slowly, he raised one finger to his lips. The feed went black. No crash, no warning. Just gone. Nobody spoke for almost a minute. Finally, Jake broke the silence. "We're leaving." No one argued. We packed our equipment as quickly as we could. The exit was less than 100 yards away. It should have taken 30 seconds instead. We reached another turbine hall, identical to the first one. Same generators, same control panels, same wall covered in names, only this time there were 6 names and the last one was mine, written in fresh white paint. Before I could say anything, Noah looked around the room. His face had gone pale. Then he asked the question that changed everything. "Guys, where's Daniel? Guys, where's Daniel?" The question echoed through the turbine hall for a second. None of us answered. Then Jake frowned. "What are you talking about?" Noah looked genuinely confused. "There were 6 of us." Noah and Mason laughed nervously. "There are 5. No, there were 6. He drove with us. He was sitting behind Ethan." Jake shook his head. "Noah, you've lost it. There has never been a Daniel." Noah looked at me. "You remember him?" I opened my mouth. Nothing came out. Did I? I tried to picture the drive. 5 hours in the SUV, music, jokes. Gas station stops, 5 seats, 5 backpacks, 5 cameras. There wasn't room for another person, was there? Noah kept staring at me. "Tell them." I couldn't. The memory felt like trying to remember a dream after waking up. I knew something was missing. I just couldn't reach it. Then, Ethan quietly said, "Forget Daniel. Where's the drone?" We all looked toward the controller. The signal had returned. The drone was transmitting again, only now. It wasn't in the impossible hallway anymore. It was hovering directly above us. Looking straight down, the live feed showed 5 people standing in the turbine hall. Then, another figure slowly walked into the frame. Construction helmet, orange reflective jacket, face completely hidden by darkness. He stood between us. None of us reacted. None of us turned toward him because he wasn't actually there. Only the drone could see him. Jake whispered, "Zoom in." Ethan did. The image sharpened. The helmet wasn't orange anymore. It was covered in old rust. The jacket wasn't reflective. It was soaked black. The figure slowly raised one hand, not toward the drone. Toward me. The video glitched. When it cleared, the man was standing inches behind me. I spun around. Nothing. The hall was empty. Then Noah shouted, "My camera." He was staring at the playback screen. Someone had pressed record without him noticing. The footage showed all 5 of us entering the station, except someone else walked through the gate before we did. The construction worker. He never looked back, never acknowledged us. He simply walked inside. Exactly 43 seconds before we arrived, Jake swallowed. Fast forward. The camera continued. We walked through the courtyard, into the turbine hall. The construction worker remained ahead of us the entire time. always just around the next corner, always disappearing before we reached him. None of us had ever seen him, not once. Then the footage reached the names on the wall. Every one of us stopped to look. The camera clearly recorded us reading them. Behind us, the construction worker slowly wrote another name, Daniel. Then he walked away. No one noticed. The recording ended. Nobody spoke for the first time that night. I wanted to leave more than I wanted answers. Jake nodded. Enough, we're done. We hurried toward the exit. The map on my phone still showed the front gate less than 200 feet away, but every hallway led somewhere else. The station wasn't changing. Our memories of it were, doors we'd already opened became locked. Staircases ended on different floors. Rooms appeared where blank walls had been. The deeper we wandered, the quieter everyone became. Then Mason stopped walking. He looked around. Where's Noah? We turned. Noah was gone. His flashlight lay on the floor, still on, rolling slowly in circles. Noah, Jake shouted. No answer. We searched every nearby room. Nothing. His walkie-talkie crackled, static. Then Noah's voice. I'm downstairs. Jake grabbed his radio. There is no downstairs. A pause. I can see all of you. Where are you? Another pause. You already left. The transmission ended. Mason looked pale. We have to find him. We followed the radio signal. It led us to a heavy steel elevator, the one from the drone footage, only now. It was real. The display glowed faintly. Level 5. Jake unfolded the blueprint again. His hands trembled. There is no level 5. The elevator doors opened. Inside, the lights were already on. No buttons, only one key switch. The elevator moved by itself, down. None of us had touched anything. The doors closed. The descent lasted much longer than it should have. 30 seconds, 1 minute, 2, the numbers never changed. Still, level 5, finally, the doors opened. A long concrete corridor stretched ahead, perfectly clean, perfectly lit. Every wall was covered with framed photographs. Hundreds of them. Visitors, families, urban explorers, construction crews, police officers. Each photograph had been taken outside the power station. Every group was smiling. Every photograph had one thing in common. Someone had been crossed out, not scratched, not torn away. Simply gone. Empty space remained where a person should have been. Then I found ours. It had been taken earlier that evening. All 5 of us stood outside the entrance, except Noah wasn't there anymore. There was only an empty gap between Mason and Ethan. Jake frowned. Was he standing there? Nobody answered, because none of us could remember. Further down the corridor, another photograph waited, same location, different year, the same 5 faces, only this time, Mason was missing. Jake whispered, this was taken tomorrow. The lights flickered. Footsteps echoed somewhere ahead, heavy work boots, steady, unhurried. The construction worker emerged from the darkness for the first time. We saw his face, or rather, what remained of it. It wasn't monstrous, it wasn't decayed, it was ordinary, too ordinary. A middle-aged man with tired eyes and a faded company ID clipped to his jacket. The badge simply read, Daniel Harper, Maintenance Supervisor. He looked at us with genuine sadness, then quietly said, leave. Jake stepped forward. Where are our friends? Daniel didn't answer. Instead, he looked past us toward the elevator. His expression changed. Fear, real fear. He whispered, don't let it know you remember them. The lights went out, complete darkness. Someone screamed. Another scream answered from somewhere much farther away. When my flashlight finally came back on, Jake and Ethan were gone. Only Mason stood beside me, or had he always? I honestly couldn't remember. We ran, neither of us spoke. The elevator was waiting, doors open. We stumbled inside. The moment they closed, I heard pounding outside, not fists, dozens of hands hammering against the metal doors. Then, voices, Jake, Noah, Ethan, all shouting together, don't leave us. Mason reached for the doors. I pulled him back. They're not outside. How do you know? Because their voices were wrong. Each sentence repeated twice. Slightly out of sync, like 2 recordings playing together. The elevator rose. The pounding stopped. Morning sunlight poured through broken windows as the doors opened onto the ground floor. We ran until we reached the parking lot. The SUV was still there. 3 backpacks, 3 cameras, 3 phones. I turned to Mason. He looked exhausted. We have to call the police. He stared at me. For who? Our friends. He frowned. What friends? I felt my stomach drop. There were. I stopped. How many had there been? 5, 4, 3. The number slipped away before I could hold on to it. Police searched the station for 2 days. They found nothing unusual. No elevator, no 5th level, no drone, no missing people. Only 3 abandoned backpacks, 3 sets of footprints leading inside. 3 signatures in the visitor log we'd left at the ranger station before entering. Officially, only 3 of us had ever gone into the power station. Months passed, I stopped talking about it. No one believed me. Sometimes, I almost stopped believing myself until last winter. I was editing old footage for another project. A single corrupted file appeared on my hard drive. I don't remember copying it. The timestamp matched the night at the station. The video lasted only 12 seconds. The drone hovered above the turbine hall. 3 people stood below me, Mason, and someone I couldn't recognize. The camera slowly zoomed toward the 4th figure standing beside us. His face was blurred, but his voice wasn't. He looked directly into the camera and said, "If you're watching this, you've forgotten another one." The file deleted itself before I could play it again. Sometimes I still wake up convinced there were more of us. More names, more voices, more empty seats in the SUV. I just can't remember who they belonged to. If you ever visit an abandoned place that locals refuse to talk about, pay attention before you leave. Don't count how many people are standing beside you. Count how many names you remember, because if you have to stop and think, it may already be too late. If you are brave enough to hear more nightmares, subscribe to Tales of the Dark, and if you have your own terrifying experience, leave it in the comments or send your story by email. Maybe your nightmare will become the next story told here.